Hello, hello. I think you can hear me. Ghost of Bodefeld, nice to see you. Um, because of the way I have the chat thing set up, I can't actually see how many viewers are on any platform. I have no clue. And I kind of prefer it that way. So, hello, Odegas. Nice to see you, apparently. Yes, we got people. Yes, we are back after a month of not streaming. Last month was commission month. I was doing commissions all month, and I don't generally live stream those unless I have special clearance to do so. Mr. Chansey, hello on Owncast nonetheless. Wow, Owncast is popping off, isn't it? I can count on Owncast. I love Owncast. Anyway, so yeah, last month I was doing commissions all month. Don't usually stream that stuff. But we're back doing the puppet building thing. I am still working on the commission, but I do have special clearance to stream this one, so we're good. Hope you all are well. I took the opportunity while I wasn't streaming to completely reinstall and rebuild the PC in the studio here. So we're now running CachyOS instead of what we were running, which is Pop! OS. And I'm a convert, I gotta say. Happy Switch 2 launch day. Yeah, well, hey, you know what? If you're a Nintendo person, congratulations. I'm sure hopefully it's a very fun day for you. I have no idea how the launch is actually going. I know there was projection of possible shortages, but then probably not. And so who even knows minute to minute what the tariff situation is? So I have no idea. I can comfortably say I am not in that demographic, so if you get a Nintendo Switch 2, enjoy. I hope you have a lovely day. Just looking at the stats here, making sure, because this is all brand new, I set everything up from scratch again. Hopefully I've got the chat thing sorted out, and I did intentionally make sure I activated the YouTube chat. If you're on YouTube and you can send a chat, I should probably just try that before we go any further. Let me see. Go in here. Okay, we can see the stream is live. Oh, it's bad. Don't double up the audio. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna type test in the chat bar. Hey, look at that. Uh-oh, hang on. Yes, no, we're good. Wiljan, hello. So the good thing is, I can't believe the freaking YouTube chat's actually working for a change. See? All you gotta do, if you wanna fix stuff, is just rebuild it from scratch. That's the lesson. Yeah, so this is all nice and shiny and new, and I think is performing well. I mean, literally our CPU usage at the moment for OBS is 1.7%. That's bizarrely low. Like, have you had everything new? No, I didn't have to set up anything new because of the coffee accident. I just wanted to. It had been on Pop! OS for like, gosh, a couple years now. And Pop! OS, I do like it, but it's quite long in the tooth now. And it was pretty resource intensive. It's not a great OS for like video transcoding, for example, which we tend to do a lot in the shop here. So I've been running CachyOS on my gaming PC in the office for, I don't know, a few weeks now. And I really like it, and it's really, really efficient on resources. So I just went, well, what the heck, let's give it a shot. So we got CachyOS getting our Arch Linux on. And it's been good. It's been really good. Like I said, we're super low CPU usage right now. So hopefully it's all good. Hopefully you can hear me clear enough. Let me know if the music is too loud or I'm too loud. The meters look good to me, but you tell me what your personal experience is like. I've already had 2 cups of coffee and a sugar-free Red Bull. So we're ready to go. We got some stuff we're doing here. More coffee clearly is what I need. But yeah, we're doing another commission. This is going to be a Live Hands Blink Mech monster, among my favorites. And I'm doing some interesting stuff here. Audio is fine. Good, thank you. Nice to know. Excellent. Yes, good. Audio is great, and you're on Twitch, I can see. So that means we've got it. We've got all the bases covered. PeerTube hasn't chimed in yet. I don't even like. I don't think anyone has ever watched on. Actually, that's not true. I know there's been like one person on PeerTube watching live, but I think it's because they couldn't get to the Owncast or something like that. It was one of those things. I mostly use PeerTube as the archiver for this because if I stream to that simultaneously, it just gets auto archived, and I don't have to do anything. I have to click a button and make it live. That's it, which I like a lot. So, Owncast is the main focus for live streaming. That's where we are with that. I like it a lot. There's always people on Owncast these days. Owncast is growing. I gotta tell you, like everything else, at least in terms of my viewership, quote unquote. I hate thinking these terms, but has kind of, it's not really flatline. It's just kind of like holding steady. But Owncast has been growing, so it's we like it. It's good. More and more people are kind of getting fed up with the corporate stuff, I think, and they're looking for alternatives, and that's a good thing to do. You should check that stuff out. I won't evangelize any more than that, but y'all know my position on that stuff. Anyway, puppets. So what are we doing? Let's go to a different camera that isn't this camera. Well, let's go to the white camera. Oh, guess it's the best emojis, it's true. So here we are. We are doing, and in fact, the client asked if they could figure out when the stream was. So I don't know if the client is going to be here. I'm not going to say their name because I haven't had permission for that. I have had permission to share this build. So this is where we are currently with this monster, and it's an interesting kind of build. It's a little bit different than I would usually do in that the fur color is very, very dark. It's a dark gray. Puppetronic, hello, nice to see you. Okay, good, excellent. It's true. It's true. Ozone, hello. So I'm going to stand up for this bit. There's a couple interesting things going on. The fur is very dark, as you can see. It's a dark gray. And the kind of eyes we're doing with this is a new kind of blink mech that I've been working on for a while. This is the sort of finished production version of it. I've been prototyping it for a while. And it's different than my usual one because the usual one, Gas Line Footed Forum is about, oh, that's right. Yes, I know. And I think Elena Rossini is doing something there as well. And I'm missing it because I'm live streaming puppet building on the Fediverse. Ironic that, hey, it's all good. So the interesting thing about this blink mech, the way that we normally do it, and I've shown this before, is it gets, like the eyes are just spheres, and the eyebrow mech itself, this is how Animal's done, for example, gets mounted on the actual spheres themselves, and then that gets mounted in the skull. This is different. In the skull, I was printing out a new mouth plate I wanted to show you all, but the print isn't finished yet. There's actually supports on the mouth plate itself, and the rig for the eyebrow mech gets mounted on those, not on the skull itself. It's just kind of resting, but it's not mounted on the skull. And so that means that we can put this in without needing the eyes. That's the goal. And in fact, with this one goes even further because this was actually made in two pieces, and then the eyebrow part is actually put on afterwards and then epoxied on. So what that means is we don't actually need to cut holes in this. We can just skim this normally, and we can put basically any kind of eyes that we want on this skull. On the other style, the Animal style, you're kind of limited to just using spheres, or at least half spheres. In this, we can go all over the place. We can do lots of stuff because this still works. Let me show you the action on this, since we've got the client in the chat. It's pretty good. It feels pretty good. So, I know it's a little tough to see, but there we go. Well, obviously we're going to do a little bit of fur grooming and stuff like that to sort of tidy this up. But here we go. So it's not bad. Got a good range on it here. wide open, and fully closed. There we go. So, yeah, you got to fiddle with it. There's no such thing as the perfect eyebrow mech. As anybody who first uses an eyebrow mech for the first time comes to learn, it's like there's always a comfort thing, there's always a learning curve, and there's always just sort of figuring out what works for you. But nevertheless, that's pretty good in terms of range. So yeah, so we can do anything we want from here on out. This is the nice thing. As long as it will clear where the eyebrow is going, we can put any kind of eye that we want under here. And that is a real major advantage of this style over the old animal style. All thanks to the magic of 3D printing. So, what we're going to do today is a couple of things. I got to finish the arms. Most of the arms are done, actually. Here are the actual arms themselves. These are all sewn. These are all ready to go. I have to sew up the biceps because this is in the sack style. This is a sleeved style discrete bicep. So what happens is these are basically just tubes. These are the biceps. These get sewn up, attached here, and the arms is going to go on like that. So that's one of the things we're going to do today. That's second. But the first thing we're going to do is something I'm actually going to shoot a tips, tricks, and tutorials video on, although I'm a little bit hesitant to do so because it's an extremely niche subject, and I don't know how many people are actually going to benefit from it or be interested in it, because this is just something that I do, but it also requires some very specialized equipment and techniques. So the number of people that this one's going to be for is very small. However, hey, small audiences need love too, right? So, and what the heck, hashtag content, right? Got to get the videos out. So that's what we're doing today. Now, the cool part is I've reworked how the chat display works on my end. So I can actually hide the chat on the stream, but I can still see it. That was not the case before. So, so that's handy. Just doing the interview, but I just have to know. The glasses, prescription, just cool. What's the story behind the glasses? Good question. So they are prescription, and they are actually bifocals as well. But the rose-colored glasses, they're technically called migraine lenses. There's a degree of, there's some largely anecdotal evidence that they help with headaches, mostly headaches, but there's been no real double-blind studies that I'm aware of, or at least I could find, and me being a science person, that's what I want to see. But, you know, I do have frequent headaches, always have. Could be the caffeine intake, who knows? But I decided to give these a shot. I wanted to, and yet the fact that they actually look cool as well is just a nice byproduct. I'll take it. It suits my deal, you know. So yes, yes to all of the questions. Yes, they're prescription, and yes, they look cool. But there is a practical side to it as well. Oh, we gotta follow Orc 6000. Wow, that's a lot of orcs. The glasses are awesome. Thank you. I like them a lot. And they're generally very nice. I haven't noticed fewer headaches, but I have noticed less intense headaches. Don't know if that's psychosomatic or not, but it doesn't matter if it's psychosomatic. It's still better than not having it, right? So here we go. Good morning, Orc 6000 on Twitch. Nice to see you. Since you're new and you don't know, we are actually streaming to 4 different endpoints at the moment. We are streaming to Twitch, YouTube, PeerTube, and Owncast. And but the nice part is on the stream itself here, you will be able to see all of the chat. All in one big happy family, as it were. So I'm going to be shooting a tips, tricks, and tutorial video for this, but the thing is, the reason that I did the chat the way I did is because I want to be able to go like that and hide the chat just on the stream for the duration of me shooting the tips, tricks, and tutorials video. It probably won't be long, so don't worry. It'll come back, but just for the duration, I will still be able to see the chat. Something goes down, I can always take care of it, so not to worry. But we're not in that much of a hurry. I'm actually really far along on this build. This should be done today or tomorrow, hopefully, so we will see. I like that there's people here. You're always worried when you take a break and then you come back that everyone's just going to forget you or move on, or, you know. I mean, I know that what I do is somewhat unique in the world, so probably my audience is going to just come back because, hey, who else is doing this, right? I would like more people to do it. I would love to do, like, you know, collaborations and stuff. That'd be awesome. Y'all get your live streaming on. We'll do stuff. All right, we should probably get on with it. I'm gonna have a lozenge, of course, because of the talking. And so I will be hiding the chat for the duration of while I'm shooting this tips, tricks, and tutorials video. It's just convenient to do it this way. It just gives me a reason to, like, you know, publish something that's also a separate thing that people can watch. It's the motivation. I'm sitting here with the camera on anyway. I might as well just do the things rather than having to, like, drag my carcass away from my PC and, you know, and do it separately. This is just convenient because it's all just here. I could just do it. So we should probably get on with it. Where are we at? 10:19. Okay, we're going for 20 minutes. That's pretty good. We usually go for about 2 hours. I don't know if today's is going to be 2 hours. It might be a little bit shorter than that, but we'll see. We will see. Okay, what I need to do before we get into this is I need to, check out a couple of camera situations here. Okay, that looks good. Let's go to the top cam. Just want to make sure that the framing is a little bit, we got to take the big furry monster out of the frame here. In the way a little bit. And I also need, oh, there's one thing I didn't do. I didn't get my preview of my handheld cam up. Let's go to that. This is gonna get shaky, cam, I warn you. This one. There we go. Yeah. I did remember to turn off autofocus because autofocus freaks out on this surface. I finally got a new cutting mat because I go through a few of these a year for obvious reasons. And I forgot to get a green one. I meant to get a green one because the autofocus on this camera freaks out when it's the black and white. And so the green is better. And I forgot and I got another black and white one. Oh well, that's my bad. We're just gonna have to live with it. But yeah, that's pretty good. I think about there is where we're gonna want that. Okay. Here we go. We're gonna shoot our video that hopefully Frankie will not complain about editing. So if you got anything to say to me, say it now. All right, I'm gonna hide the chat. I'm also gonna, blow my nose just before we get going because it's one of those days. You know what I mean? My mic mute is now mounted on the wall, so give me a second. I gotta reach over here to. I moved my audio mixer to a more convenient place, and it's less convenient. Welcome to being me. Okay, let's go. Hello, and welcome to another tips, tricks, and tutorials video. They're joking in the chat about swearing now because I have now hidden it for these while I'm shooting these. I can still see you though. Swear words, and swear words, sure. That's only on the Pixels and Puppets channel. That's not on here. So what are we doing today? This is going to be a weird one. I mean, they're all weird, but this is going to be a highly specific and specialized one that I don't think a lot of people are going to be terribly useful, but there might be one or two who will. Puppetronic, nice to see you. Thank you for following. See, I'm proof that it's a live stream right there. Here is the task before us. We are working on a live hands monster. I can give you a little preview of where we are with this critter. And this is a nice blink mech monster. And the client has asked that the eyes for this are, they initially asked for glass eyes, or at least something that would look like glass, and specifically not shiny plastic. They wanted glossy, but not shiny plastic, and I totally understand that. Shiny plastic just looks like shiny plastic, and you can tell they wanted something that looks more like glittery like glass. I haven't worked with glass that much, and they're expensive and hard to get and very difficult to work with and quite heavy, particularly for the sizes that we're talking about here. So I suggested an alternative. And this is something I've done a couple times before and it's worked out well. But this is a way to make something very, very glossy and look like glass, but it's not glass, basically. Now, caveat, most of the time, particularly for something like eyes, you want to avoid glossiness. If you're doing this for like a film shoot, either, you know, a big production or just a YouTube video or whatever, the problem with glossiness is you get hot spots and it reflects the camera light and the lights in the studio back. And so lighting directors hate glossiness. You always want to go as diffuse as possible on any surface that you don't want to have reflections off of. Particularly if you're green screening or anything like that, they can cause major problems. However, that's not my call. This is what the client has asked for. So this is the task before us. So let me show you kind of where we're going here. I'm going to go to the close-up cam here. Boom. Okay, so they're going to be black, glittery eyes, and this is, think like Sprocket on Fraggle Rock. That kind of vibe is what we're going for. So what I do is all of my eyes are now 3D printed. So this is just an example. This isn't exactly what we're working with here, but here's an example of an eye directly from the 3D printer. As you can see, it's quite matte. In fact, it's got a neat sheen to it. And I'll usually just use them straight out of the printer like this. And these look kind of cool. So, love Fraggle Rock. Oh, listen, I got whole stories. Ozone, you gotta have me back on the show, because oh, hey, the chat is still showing. I'm sorry. I guess it hides in different ways. There we go. Anyway, wow, so professional. Yes, Ozone, we can talk Fraggle Rock. I got a whole story about Fraggle Rock. I've used a real Fraggle. That's the TLDR. Anyway, have me back. Dude, I know you haven't had people back for a second interview yet. Oh, I should probably point out, you set up your Ohmcast about section. It's just showing the full Ohmcast info. Good point. I should probably do that. I will. Frank, you can edit this part out of the end video. Sure I can. You just make more work for me. That's fine. Okay, anyway, so this is the kind of eye that would come right out of the printer. Now, what we want to do is make this very, very glossy as possible. There's a couple of ways you can do that. You can use, there are spray paints that you can get that are just a glossy top coat. Those will work well. They're also spray paint, so they're kind of a pain to use, particularly if you're using them indoors. Always have good ventilation. Remember, kids, safety first. Another way is to, and this is something I can speak to with a degree of authority, you can do something like this. This is nail polish top coat. And this is basically an acrylic, and it will air dry quite quickly. In fact, you can see some on my nails right now. And this will create a very glossy finish. The problem is, over time, this could flake and break off. So you probably don't want to use this unless you need something in a hurry. Like if you're on a film set, for example, and you need to oh, we need this to be shiny or look wet or something. Boom, you can just slap some of this on, let it air dry for a minute, no problem, ready to go. But you won't get a lot of good durability or duration out of this. So what the real solution is this stuff, which is, of course, there we go, UV reactive resin. A lot of crafting people will know about this stuff. Very, very interesting and neat and fun to work with. Bit messy, but we can accommodate for that. But the way this stuff works, also people who are interested in doing nail fashions will know about this stuff because this gets used a lot in that. And it is pretty much what it says on the bottle. It's a resin that cures by UV light. Like I said, very specialized subject we're going for today, but we're going to do it anyway. Let me show you this. So if you've ever been watching an Operation Puppet stream, oh, the chat is going to be like this, is it? Okay, fine. Note to self, fix that for next time. Have you ever been watching one of my streams? Of course you have. And wondered what the heck is that white box in the corner with the Operation Puppet sticker on it? That is a UV curing chamber. If you look inside, you can just kind of make it out. In the back there is a strip of UV lights, and there's a little motorized turntable on the bottom here. So if you want to cure something, i.e. harden or dry, as it were, something that has UV reactive substance like resin on it, you put it in there, you close, you seal the chamber, and then there's a timer that you set and you turn it on, and it goes for however long that you ask it to. Now, how long does this stuff take to cure? It depends. You don't actually need a special UV light to cure this stuff. You can literally put it in a sunny window and the UV light from the sun will do it. It takes a lot of time to do that, probably like a day or two. But nevertheless, if you don't have access to a UV light, you can do that. There's all kinds of UV lights for curing resin that you can get. This is just a fancy box with a UV light in the back, basically. You can get handheld UV lights. There are ones that they sell specifically for doing nails that are just like something you can rest your hand under. There's all kinds of UV lights you can get for it. This is the most convenient for me because I can just pop something in it, push a few buttons, and then let it go. So the amount of time depends on how thick the resin is, what kind of resin. The resin itself will have some guides. I have found them to be only mildly accurate. You usually want a lot more time than the resin tells you. The other interesting thing about this kind of resin, and I should point out, you don't just have to use this to coat stuff. You can actually just make stuff with this. You can pour this into molds and then let it cure in the mold, and it will, there's a whole area of crafting that's just making stuff like jewelry and things with UV resin. And it looks like glass. It comes out completely transparent. You can also get, I think I have some around here. Let me go back to the tight cam here. This is UV reactive dye. And you can put a few drops of this in your normally transparent UV resin, and this will color it. So you can make different colors of glass as well. You can make really neat things. You can even do like stained glass style things with it. It's really, really flexible what you can do with this. But what we're doing with it is just coating an eye, curing it in the chamber, and getting it to be very, very glossy. And I can give you an example of that because here is, for example, like a cooking show, one I prepared earlier. This is the same size and style of eye, but this has got one coat of that UV reactive resin on it, and you can just see how glossy that is. That's like really, really shiny. And this, I think you'll agree, does not look like cheap, shiny plastic. This looks, if I told you this was glass and you didn't have any reason to doubt me, you would probably just accept that this was glass. So this is what we are doing. Now, the more coats you put, the glossier and smoother it will be. This is also a way, FYI, that you can smooth out the layer lines with 3D printing. Because you know, any filament-based 3D printer is going to have layer lines. You can kind of see it a little bit in this one. This is one way that you smooth out the line, other than doing like an acetone vapor chamber thing. You can take some UV resin, coat it, cure it, and then sand it down, particularly if you're going to paint it afterwards. And this is a really nice way of smoothing out a 3D printed model. So the more coats that you put, the smoother and glossier it will be. So let me show you the eyes that we are actually working with. This is just an example that I prepared for the video. Here are the actual eyes that are going to be going on the puppet. And I've already put 3 coats of UV reactive resin on these. And you can just see how incredibly glossy these things are. That's just, it's like a delightful gem. Really, really nice. So what we're going to do is, as an example, I'm just going to put another coat. This will be the final coat of UV resin on this. And then we're going to stick it in the chamber. And that's kind of it. Afterwards, this will just come out and this will be hard and dry and no problem. Now I'm going to put these in for about half an hour, I think, is where we're going to go with that, because I've noticed that if you put it in for as much time as the recommended, and I'm not sure what it says here, usually they're way shorter than what you actually need. They come out a little bit sticky, and you don't want that. You want it to be as dry and, like, you know, able to touch it as possible. So keeping the dark underlying color. Yeah, well, that's the other thing about the UV resin is it's completely transparent. Like, this is as transparent as glass or ice or something like that. It is completely 100% transparent. So, well, I guess not 100%, otherwise you wouldn't be able to see it. But that's the nice thing with these. I didn't have to put the dye in at all, because it's, you know, it's going over something that's black already. So this is just have to coat this with the UV resin and we're all good. So here's how I'm going to do it. Let's reach down here, and my good old trusty sponge brushes. I love a good sponge brush. And here's the nice part about this. I use these fairly often, and yes, these are disposable, but they're not completely disposable. Of course you can't open it. Hey, I don't want to ruin my nails. Because what I do, all we really need is the spongy part. And of course, as I've talked about before, I just take these. Of course, this one's not going to cooperate. There we go. Pull out the spongy part, and then this will become an arm rod handle. And this is how I get inexpensive wooden dowels for my arm rods. This is what they are. Very, very handy. And these things are like a dime a dozen. These are super cheap. So, good resource to have. We'll set that aside, and that will become an arm rod handle. So here is how we're going to do it. I'm just going to go to the close-up cam here. Hide the chat and get all you swear words. Did it come back? Oh, good. Oh, you know, I'll bet you it's showing up again every time I switch scenes. Oh, well. I'll sort that out for next time. Okay, so the thing about this is I'll show it in a little cup here, but I'm not actually going to use the cup for this, just because I don't really need to. Here's a little disposable. This is the kind of thing you get if you get like you know, you can get kits that are just for mixing the stuff. This is just a little disposable thing. It's, as you can see, it's like a thick syrup. It's like a gloppy kind of, you know. I might as well use it for this. It's out of the bottle already. You do want to keep this stuff capped. Now, thankfully, this stuff, I don't know if other brands are have more fumes, but this stuff really doesn't smell. I would not feel the need for ventilation with this stuff, although it's probably never a bad idea, but I'm definitely not gonna put the mask on for this, So we're just gonna dip a little bit in there, make sure I'm getting most of this on camera. It's not easy. And we're just gonna, sorry, it's me, tighten this up. It's also not a bad idea to do this with gloves, but of course I'm not, because do as I say, not as I do, but you know. Here we go. It's very, very simple. Obviously, try and get it even and smooth. Try not to get like lint and stuff in it. You probably will. You always will. It isn't going to be perfect. Nothing ever is. That's what makes it nice. Clearly handmade. There we go. There's that one. And is that still on camera? More or less? More or less. More or less than more. Okay. So there we go. Just coat it, and that's it. You don't need much. Just a little tiny bit. Like I said, this is the 4th coat that's going on this, so. I'm sorry, I'm reading chat. I was getting distracted. Oh, yes, thank you, Ozone. Okay, so let's go to the wide cam, and we can open the chamber. The chamber of UV. Now, of course, I'm saying all this, and the switch has fallen down, and it's on a plug, and if I pull too hard, the plug is going to come unplugged, and that will be bad. Okay, there we go. I got it. We're good. We're good. There's a little timer here, and you can barely see that. But I'm just going to open the chamber. I'm going to put these on the turntable. The reason this is in the closed thing is you don't really want to be, oops, bang, crash, boom. I just knocked over the stream deck, and that's probably bad because that could cause bad things to happen on the stream, but I think we're okay. I think we're okay. All right. Frankie, edit that out too. So much work is because you're incompetent. Take 2. It's fine. Everything's fine. At least I think everything's fine. Everything is fine. Okay. Anyway, close the chamber. Find the plug you just dropped again. Believe me, this is the par for the course in this place. There's so much stuff piled up. Okay, I'm gonna set this for half an hour. And hopefully, I don't know if the camera will pick it up. See how it's like it's lit up? It's got a purple glow to it now. That means the chamber is functioning. So there we go. And then all we do is just wait the half an hour, let that thing go, and when you take them out, it'll be all nice and dry and glossy and hard, and that's pretty good. So that's it. That's the tip, trick, and or tutorial. How to make something look like glass that isn't glass. And like I said, it is somewhat specialized, but the UV resin you can get anywhere. I got that stuff on Amazon. And the UV lights, you don't have to have the fancy box chamber. You can just get like a handheld thing. It's a little bit of a pain. Or like I said, if you got the time, you can literally just put it in a sunny windowsill and let the sun do the job. It will take a lot of time, but it will work. You can do it. So there we go. My computer did not say anything about a stream during YouTube. Oh no. Hey, blame YouTube, not me. All right, anyway, so I'm gonna hand this back to editing Frankie, and we'll hopefully try and clean up some of my mess. Anyway, thank you for joining me, and I'm gonna get back to my live stream. And now, we can show the chat again. Hello. We see the glow. Nice. Okay, good stuff. Woo. That was a bit quick one and a very, very niche one, but hey, if I didn't want to do niche, I wouldn't be into puppet building, you know what I'm saying? So now what are we going to do? I'm going to have a little coffee break is what I'm going to do. It's actually getting a bit warm in here. I should turn the air conditioning back on. I haven't checked the Discord. Did the Discord actually send a notice that I was streaming? So shiny. Yeah, very, very shiny. Shiny and not at all chrome. There we go. There is a much better example. You're never going to be seeing it close up, right? This is closer to what it would actually look like for real, like seeing it on a camera, right? As opposed to that. Right? You can see the difference really clearly. And this is only one coat too, or this is only one coat as well. The ones that I'm putting in the actual puppet have 4 coats on them, so it's quite a lot. So the other thing that we need to do today is I need to finish the arms, and for that I need to do a couple things. First thing I need to do is stitch the biceps closed. Then we have to put the dowel joints in these, and that's going to be a bit of a production, but we will get there when I've finished my coffee. Where are we at here? 10:43, we're almost halfway through. That's almost exactly what I wanted. That's surprising. Hey, things sometimes will work out. Discord did not. Good heavens. Did it do the Owncast? Discord, what are you doing to me? I don't even have Discord running on this PC. Uh-oh. I thought I did. It's a new OS install. Some things, mistakes were made. Things were overlooked. There's the chat thing. Did I not install Desktop? I thought I did. Desktop is a very nice open source. Oh, there it is. Discord client that I would prefer to run rather than the official Discord client. Where are we at here? Creator promotion. Yeah, creator in the creator promotion channel. I don't post them in the regular channel because I just do that manually. But yeah, look in the creator promotion channel, Indy. You're all there. Because after all, I'm just, Yeah, no, I have changed some things around and didn't notify people. Discord's been real quiet lately, and I've just kind of been letting it be quiet because what else am I gonna do? But so I just, I'm optimizing. That's very fashionable these days. I am given to understand. You have to optimize everything. All right, let's get on with the puppet building. So, like I said, two things now. We're gonna stitch these closed, and then we are going to put the dowel joints in, and that's going to be a whole other thing that we will get to when we get to it. Breaking things, yeah, not wrong. As you can tell, just from me moving around, things fall over. I'm constantly in a state of like, I need to clean this place up. It's just, everything's on top of everything else. It's one giant Jenga tower in here. And you never get there. That's just life in a working workshop that is very small. Stuff just builds up and you can never quite bail as quickly as you need to, so. I gotta get let's go to the wide cam, I guess, yeah. So here are our arms. There's the biceps. Where's the other arm? Here it is. Fell down. See, like I said, everything's always falling down. So here are our 2 sleeves. These are the actual, I can show you these. Not sure if the client is still in chat, but there's your arms. Nice and, very discreet fingers. Very good, very good. You can see this over, where is it? Here? That hose, that's my 3D printer. My 3D printer is running, FYI. You saw my question, but how long does a puppet take to build? I did not see your question, I apologize. You do custom ones as well, right? If you order one today, how long does it take? So it really depends on the, here, let's go. See the personal camera. I love the fact I'm doing this with the sleeve. It really depends on the design. So if it's something that I already have patterns for and it's like a stock model that I make a lot, like a Greebly or a, Live Hands Monster or something, usually a few days. This one, for example, this will be the 4th day, starting from absolute scratch. This will be day 4. And I'll probably be done at some point later on today, if not tomorrow. So 4 or 5 days is a longish build for that kind of thing. If it's a custom design that I have to like prototype and all that kind of thing, the sky's the limit. There's no actual set kind of standard time that would take because it depends on the design. I don't normally do super customized stuff because of that, because then of course it's all down to labor time and labor costs skyrocket real quick because I don't work for free. So I do tend to stick to things that I at least can adapt existing patterns to. And that keeps my costs relatively low, right? Many shops at Jenga Tower, car parts, puppet grinding, 3D printer. I mean, other than the car, we're simpatico. So say you have one in the shop, but someone wants to change the color of fur or something like that. The same kind of thing. Basically, yeah. What I would do then is I just build another one. For something that like Greebly, for example, I don't have any Greeblys out, do I? No, I do not. I'm not even sure I have any on the shop, come to think of it. I just sold two. For something like a Greebly, I have made probably at least 100 Greeblys at this point. A Greebly I can do, I do them in batches, so I'll do like 2 Greeblys at the same time, and that usually takes 3 days to do 2. If I have the color of fur and fleece already, I can do it in a day. A Greebly is not that much. Again, just because I've done it so many times. But it really depends. If I have to, because it's really hard for me to get specific colors of fur these days, so I have taken to actually custom dyeing fur. That takes a while because, of course, let me show you if I have any around here. No, that's not the stuff I custom dyed. The last Greebly that went out, the blue one, that fur was custom dyed, and that took, well, it takes like a day, an extra day basically to dye the fur and let it dry, right? So your turnaround time is good. Talk my wife into order. So yes, I see. Might get one. Yeah, no, absolutely. That's the other thing. The stuff on the shop is almost always going to be at least slightly less expensive than the stuff that you're custom ordering, obviously. Because if you're custom ordering something, I need to at least get the materials and stuff like that, right? I'd love to do like a kid's show with them. Absolutely. I mean, I can show you the look on the Hall of Fame on the Operation Puppet channel. There's plenty of folks who do that kind of thing already. And I mean, something like this, for example, I do have one of these I can grab quickly. A small, so named because they're small. That's clever marketing. These guys, I can literally, I do these in batches of 2, and this will take me 2 days. There's not a lot to these guys. These are unibody, so it's just like a single piece each side. Very, very easy to do something like this. So yeah, a few days basically, and then of course shipping time on top of that. But yeah, so it's not that much. Most custom puppets don't cost much more than what is on the shop. It depends on what the materials are, what colors, that kind of thing. There are a lot of variation within that question. So basically what I tell clients is, let me know what you're looking for, and then I can give you some feedback about that specific thing. So there we go. Hope that answers your question. Okay, I gotta get the sewing machine out, and we gotta sew up these biceps. Let's get this critter out of the way here. And we'll put these down there. Have to head out. Have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for the stream. And also chat is hidden again. Oh, this thing is going to drive me nuts. There we go. Thank you. Thank you for joining, Ozone. Nice to see you. Very much appreciate you being here. All you gotta do is look at the number of people on Owncast and know where the action is. That's all I'm saying. Okay. So I don't know if we should bother with the close-up cam for this. I think that would be silly. It's really just, hang on, this is gonna get shaky cam, FYI. Oops, wrong camera. It's literally just two quick, like straight lines. I don't know if this is even worth showing on the close-up cam. Here we go. These are already clipped together. So just on the machine. Where's the pedal? I did not set this up. There we go. Get a little bunched up here. Let's just make sure that we don't have a problem. I know I just whacked the camera. I'm sorry. Forgive me. This is not a good camera angle for this at all. My constant bane is trying to find an angle for the camera that works well doing a close-up of the sewing machine. That is such a pain. Frankie, get on. More work, excellent. This is exactly what I needed. Chat again. We are. Good heavens. All right. Note to self, the whole hide the chat thing isn't working well. That was something I didn't test, of course. And you see, it's all the things you don't test to go wrong. All right. There's one. And bicep number 2. And these are just tubes. These are literally just tubes. Something fell over. It's the things are falling over day. I don't know what's going on. I don't normally run the machine this fast. It's causing some vibrations that are untoward. You don't want untoward vibrations. I'm missing Fetty form for this, just have you know. What's that? The normal people ask. Okay. Let's go here for the moment. Because now that we've got this, we've got our seam allowance. Of course, all we do is trim off the seam allowance. So, let's just do that. I think I need more coffee. You definitely do not need more coffee. Welcome to the inside of my head. It's pretty good, huh? Well, it's kind of wild that this was even available because you wanted the the dark gray. It's a little bit, this camera isn't the best for it. Let me see if I can find the one that's got the best color reproduction. This is pretty good here, actually. This is closer to the actual color IRL. Of course, for me with the rose tinted glasses, I'm sometimes seeing it with that, so it looks brown to me occasionally, just because I got the red, but it's not brown. It's very much dark gray. And my supplier normally wouldn't have had something like this. They just happened to have a bunch in when I looked, and it was just like, well, there's Kismet right there. Let's just grab some of that. And I literally have none left. After this, this is it. This is the one-off. Your puppet has this fur, and that's it. And I could not dye something this dark. This is like by hand, without like an acid dye or something. So there we go. Black is too dark. For the camera, this is perfect. Yeah, exactly. So the other thing, while you're here, this is me doing some client consultation live. Let me just grab, here's a bit of this. So here is how it looks. Now, of course, we put the glittery black against that. It's pretty good. You can see it, but we probably want a little bit more definition than that, I think. So what I've done, I'm not sure if these are going to work yet. We'll have to see until after the eyes are cured, but I've printed these out as well. So these are just gray filament, and it's a little socket. These aren't going to work with this size because unfortunately they're different sizes, but basically, let's see if we can do a kind of mock-up here for you to show you kind of what that looks like. Kind of like that. We'll just give a little sort of gray eye bag, basically. And that gives enough definition, I think, that we can see it a bit better. So this is kind of where I'm heading, but I'll have to play around with it a little bit and see what I think. I may end up doing this in fabric instead of the 3D printed thing. It'd be better for the flexibility. So anyway, we'll see. That's something I still have to experiment with a little bit. But yeah, to do it in black, I mean black, easy to hand. We're probably going to do, one of the things we need to do is, of course, for the eyebrow, we need to do eyebrows as well. So I'll probably do the eyelids in a gray, and then I'll do a very sort of trimmed eyebrow in black. With a little color in the eye bag, if that's better. So we should probably talk about that before I do it, because once it's done, it's done. That is not a bad idea at all. I would suggest, based on looking at the fabric that I currently have, I mean, if you want to consult right now, we can do it right now. Because let me just show you what I've got sitting literally next to me. So, and this will also determine the color of the eyelids, right? Because we're going to do, this is the standard, we're going to do 2 layers, basically. We're going to do on the eyebrows. And this is how Animal's done, this is how Frankie's done. This is a standard kind of model. We're going to do an eyelid in fleece, and then we're going to do an eyebrow over top of it. So this is the first thing I'm thinking, something like a blue. That's pretty good. Or we can do a darker blue. Have a darker blue as well. Oh, of course, that's not, it's gonna cause an avalanche here. Here we go. Okay. Here's a darker blue. I think maybe the lighter blue is a bit better. I don't know how you feel about that, but I kind of think the lighter blue is definitely gonna pop more. And of course, if I do that, then I will do the eye bags in the same color as the eyelids, and that will kind of tie it all together and make it look consistent. Is that black or dark colored? This is very dark gray. This is what we were talking about. Let me show you some black next to it, because I know the camera contrasts are all over the place. And I'm not sure about the light blue. Well, you let me know. You let me. There's also, I've got a fair amount of fleece, so if you can think of a color you want, I very well may have it. So you let me know. Here we go, here's some black. So here's some black, and you can see this is like black. So there is quite the contrast. I know that, again, it all depends on the camera, but yeah, you can see this is dark gray, this is black, right? Yeah, it's neat. It's a very neat color. I've never worked with anything quite that color before. But yeah, Puppetron, if you could let me know ASAP, I would like to finish this today if possible. So anyway, no rush, no actual rush. It would just be nice if you could get that to me as soon as you think of it. Let inspiration come though. Don't rush it. All right. So the next thing we're going to do, I'm going to trim these off, and then we're going to put the doll joints in and then attach the arms to the body. That is the next step. First, we're going to attach the bicep to the sleeve, and then we're going to attach the whole arm to the body. So trim off our seam allowance here. We should go over here. I'm on it. Okay, good stuff. And okay. And I'm just gonna even up the ends because we're gonna wanna glue that doll joint in there. So we need nice even level to work with. Fur is extremely forgiving, so you don't really have to worry too much about being precise. This is largely just to make it easier to work with. It's not going to affect the appearance. But for example, let me show you this in the close-up cam. This is something that new builders will find quite often. You'll come to the end of sewing on the machine and the fabric will have shifted. So you'll have one side that's much higher than the other side. In fleece, that can be a problem. And that's why the more you want to add pins, the more pins you add, the less shifting you'll have. In fur, it's never a problem because it's fur. It's just a big old blob of fur. So all I do, particularly for something like this, you aren't really going to see. This is going to be at the end of a doll joint. You're not going to see this. So I just trim it up to make those two sides even now. That's all. But yeah, new builders will find that quite often, and it'll be quite distressing for the first time you've used a machine with fur, because fur is very, fleece too, but fur even more so, is very thick, right? And so when you place two sides together, it will tend to slide and slip around and do stuff like that. Don't stress it. Don't worry about it too much. It will be fine. Once you get to the end, just trim up the unevenness. You're good to go. In fur and fleece, you want to be a little bit, go slower, add more pins, have it shift less, but also fleece will want to shift less as well. So less of a problem with fleece. But you will definitely find that with fur. The other thing you can use, I don't know if I have it easily grabbable, there's something called a walking foot that you can put on your sewing machine. You don't have mine easily obtainable. I never use it because I found it's just too much of a pain. But basically what it does is it adds, because what's happening on the machine is there's a little sort of claws underneath. And so it's feeding it through, the thread and the needle are pulling it this way, and the claws are kind of pushing it. And all that's happening is one side is being pushed while the other one isn't being pulled as far. So there's an unevenness that happens. What the walking foot does is it basically adds another set of claws on the top that kind of do this. They grab from the top and bottom, therefore, because in the case of your standard machine, it's only grabbing from the bottom. And all the walking foot does is basically add another, claw on the top and just do that kind of thing as it's feeding it through. So it's feeding the top and the bottom through more evenly. It also adds like a lot of thickness. So if you can't raise the foot of your sewing machine very high, it's really tough to like jam 2 layers of fur in there. That's the trouble that I have with my walking foot, is that I can't get the foot on my actual machine up high enough to put the 2 layers of fur under it. Otherwise I'd be using it all the time, but I can't, so I don't. But that is another solution to the slipping and sliding around unevenness, is to just use a walking foot. And I'm sure there's other kinds of walking feet. This technique works for me, so I've never worried about it. But there are solutions, is my point. Okay, let's get on with this. So we got some doll joints here. Let me go to the top cam. Top cam. So we got some doll joints. These are big old doll joints. 55mm doll joints. Let's put this back out of the way. Now, the problem with the doll joints I got is 55mm is about right. I just got one of those heavy duty Singers, love it so far. Yeah, is it the same one that I got? Here, let's do this. There you go, full view. If it's that, again, yes, I absolutely love this machine. It has been a real workhorse for me. So doll joints, let's talk doll joints. Your average doll joint comes in sometimes 2, usually 3 pieces. You have the plug, exact same one. Yeah, a lot of puppet builders use those, and they're fantastic. I mean, they're heavy duty for a reason. That heavy duty, don't lie, it wants to go. I almost think it's too fast sometimes, and it's a little bit scary. But I'm brave? Question mark. Can be fleeced if it gets better. Oh, like I say, with the lighter gray for the eye bags, no problem. We can do that. Yep, absolutely. I'm gonna have to dig through my scrap pile to find some light gray fleece. I've got some greenish tinted stuff. I'm sure I've got some gray. Oh, you know what? I did just order some gray as well. So I've got some. I just haven't unpacked it yet. I'll get to that. No worries. Yeah. So anyway, doll joints. So it comes with this plug that is fluted. I guess fluted is correct. It's got these little ridges on it here. These ridges are kind of beveled to go one way. Then sometimes, not always, but sometimes there is just a washer, and this will just hang loose. And this is the thing that creates the swivel. And then there is a locking washer, and this is the one that you put down and you snap this in place, and this holds it firm. Dylan, nice to see you. Uh-oh, I'm getting beeping. Oh, the UV curing is done. Has it been half an hour already? Kevin, you talk a lot. Good thing for a live stream. We can do the reveal live. Oh, I should shoot it for the video so Frankie can edit it together. So yeah, let me just get to the end of my thought, and then we'll do the reveal of the UV curing chamber. I love calling it a chamber. It is what it's called, but it just sounds so dramatic. The chamber. So yeah, so we've got the swivel washer sometimes, not always, but sometimes, and then the locking washer. And don't put the locking washer on until you're absolutely sure it's in the right place, because once this is on, this ain't coming off. This is permanent. Now the way that I usually go about attaching a doll joint to, say, a tube, for example, a bicep. Let me just turn these right side out. So what we want to do is we want to glue the locking washer in one end so we can poke the peg through the other end. And what we don't want is for the peg to poke down directed towards the performer, right? So, for example, if we mount an arm to this puppet, we want the peg part to be poking out this way, right? We don't want it to go in that way, because that way is going to be poking into the performer's arm, and that's uncomfortable. We don't want that. We want to make it as comfortable as it can be, considering that there's no such thing as a completely comfortable puppet. I guess that's not true, but I've never found one. So, in order to do that, it means that if we're poking the peg out this way, we have to have the locking washer in the other end, in the thing that it's going in. Problem. And most of the time that's fine. This diameter is perfect for this tube. However, the problem I currently have with these particular doll joints that I ordered is that the locking washer, as you can see, is much smaller than the diameter of the actual doll joint. So, what are we gonna do? There's a couple of ways you could solve this. I can take the swivel joint, which is the right diameter, and I can just glue this together like that. And then we can poke it through, and once we lock it on, then it's fine. And that's probably what I'm gonna end up doing. The other way that you can handle this, now of course the problem is, because this is so much smaller, when you try and glue this into the top here, there's just too much fabric. You're gonna have to gather it too much. This way, with the right diameter thing, it's much easier to have this go around and be the correct diameter for the end, right? So that's all we need to do. Now, this does not have to be permanent. It's going to get permanent once we lock this in place. What you want to do, if you're going to do this, if you're going to glue the swivel washer to the locking washer, is make sure that the locking washer is on the far side. So when you're putting this together, it's going like that and not the other way around, because you want the glue, if it ever does come loose, and it probably will, it won't matter because this is locked in like that. So that's the goal. All the glue really needs to do is exist until we lock it in place. Just hold it there while we're working with it. So for those purposes, I'm going to be foolish, because it's me, and use hot glue. Hot glue is not the best glue for anything, to be honest. This would be, if I were to use like a 2-part epoxy for this, there would be no problem, but that also takes 24 hours to cure. And like I said, this only has to be temporary. This only has to last so long as it takes to snap it in place. And after that, nothing's gonna let it go. So that's what we're gonna do. And the other thing is, we need to do this 4 times. We actually need 4 doll joints. Well, you don't need 4 doll joints for this. I usually do 4 for a bicep live hands monster. This is, honestly, it's easier and faster for me. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. 1, 2, 3. I can count 4. Okay. So don't worry about the pegs. All we're doing right now is we're just gluing these locking washers to our swivel joints. Now, grab the ye olde hot glue, and yes, I have made sure that the gun was on beforehand. And I'm just gonna put some, thankfully there's a little guide here that's kind of like showing you where it will be placed. Put some hot glue down. Just pop this over. Just make sure it's centered over the hole. That's all you need to worry about. And I'm gonna put some on the outside as well, just to sort of hold it extra. And once I start putting these in, you'll see why I'm doing this. I don't know how well you can see that. Ah, hot melt. Yep. Good old hot melt. Bad old hot melt. I keep saying this, but it's true. The only time I've ever really injured myself doing any of this kind of work is with this stuff. It is a menace. It is very much an unfortunate necessity. I can't stand this stuff. If I had more time, I wouldn't use it. But that's always the conundrum of being me, right? I'm trying to keep my costs down so people can afford my puppets. Now more than ever, that's a problem. But also, like, you know, I can't work for free. So I have to find ways of doing things quickly that still works, right? So hot glue, hot melt is a unnecessary evil in those kind of situations. Never use it on anything that's actually important. This isn't. This only has to be temporary. Oh, the 3D printer just finished. I'll be able to show you that momentarily. This will be the actual mouth plate that's inside that puppet. Okay, there we go. So that has to set up for a little bit as I'm knocking stuff over. Hot enough to remove fingerprints off the Men in Black, I'm pretty sure at least, yeah. Yes, indeed. I'm making a stop motion animated movie called Avatar Heroes. Nice. Stop motion, that's exciting. Okay, where are we at here? We're at 11:20, so we haven't got that long to go. And I want to at least start putting these in, but I need more coffee. So I will be right back. Don't go nowhere, because I'll be quick. Hot glue hurts the most if you get it on your fingernail. And believe me, I've had it places you don't want hot glue. You don't want hot glue anywhere near flesh at all. It's the worst. It's napalm, right? It's just because it's sticky. Duh, you know. All right, where are we at here? Let's see. That'll probably do us, I think, well enough. Okay, let me show you this. I think I'll be able to pull this off the build plate now. Where's my spatula? There it is. I don't really need this. I wanted to print it out just so I could show it on stream. This is the new mouth plate for our Blinkmech monsters, which is really interesting, as you can see, because we've got these, right? And let's see if I have a printed eyebrow mech ready to go here. I do. So this is basically how it works. This now, the brow mech part sits in there, and then I cap it off. And so this is how that brow mech works now, right? So we're not actually against the mounted eyes. This is now pressing the pressure point, as it were. The brace is now on the mouth plate itself. This is a very standard way that, you know, professional eye rigs have been made for quite a while. But this is what allows us to do the adding the eyes on after the fact. So this is very, very handy. The only difference is for that brow, the actual brow part and the axle part are two pieces that I then glued together. So I was able to put this together, then skin it without having to cut holes or anything. I just cut a little tiny hole in the side for the axle, and then I was able to put the brows on separately after the skin was on. Very handy. I very much prefer doing it that way, and that's the way I'm going to do it from now on. So. And all I do is I just print a little cap and then epoxy that cap onto here, so we can just get that. Actually, I know it's flopping around here. Let's see if we can. Here we go. All right, so that's how it works inside. Very simple, but simple is always what you want for this kind of thing, because the more complex it is, the more likely it is to break. This is pretty robust. You're gonna have to really work to break this. So. Let me know. It looks like, yeah, well, that's the other thing, right? It is very light. I had to make sure I printed at least the top plate. The bottom plate is the usual like 15% infill, but the top plate, I printed at like 30% just to make sure those shafts are extra strong. I actually did a prototype before this that, trying to be clever, I thought, oh, what I'll do is I'll make the actual shafts, I'll make them at different heights, and I'll have it like I screwed it down so it was like a threaded rod, and I could just like have different ones that I could swap out, and I'll just print the mouth plates with a little peg, and then I can screw down the different size shafts. The problem is I found that there was a weak point at the point where the little threaded shaft hit the mouth plate. And as I was skinning it, just put a little bit of pressure on it, it would just snap off. This is why we prototype. That is bulletproof. That is because that's all printed as one thing, right? So there's no weak points. It's just a single solid object. So, but it is also very light. That's the nice thing I like about printing in PLA is as long as you don't do too much of an infill, it's quite light. Oh, we need to do the reveal of the eyes from the curing chamber. Okay, we should probably shoot this for the actual video. Let's see. If I go here, okay, we're gonna see chat. I don't know. I'm gonna hide chat just for a minute. I want to record this and have it and edit it into the final tips, tricks, and tutorials video for later. Indulge me, content creator, hashtag. Your printer has been a beast. Oh no, we'll have to tell me about it after I've done this. All right, like a cooking show, half an hour later, let us unseal the chamber and see what we got here. Ooh, very nice, very nice. All right, let's go here and hide the chat. Yes, shiny new eyes, yes. And here we are. Very, very shiny and kind of chrome. Very shiny new eyes. So we can actually show you this the real things against the actual head they're going to be mounted in. Here, let's see if we can actually get it at least near the eyebrow. And possibly in focus. So there we go, and you can see it's got that lovely, sparkly, glass-like appearance, and the brows will go down over top like that. I know it's hard to see because all this stuff is in the way. Believe me, it looks good. And we are going to add like a little eye bag under there to sort of give a little bit more definition. But yeah, so there we go. There are our shiny eyes. So that's how you do it. These are perfectly dry. I can touch these; they're not sticky. Everything's good. That was half an hour of curing. So there we go. That's how you do UV curing. And okay, video finished. I'm afraid to even touch this show chat thing. Good heavens, what have I done to myself? So there we go. Our eyes are now ready to go. These shafts here, these are a little bit long. I've actually printed ones that are shorter. I also printed them in blue because I hardly ever use blue, and I've got a lot of it, so I might as well. These aren't going to be seen, so. But these not only have a shorter peg, but they've got a wider base as well, so this will sort of press up against it, and the inside a little bit better than this will. So these are the ones that are actually going to go on it. But there we go, a nice shiny, glossy eyes. They look good. Okay, last thing. We need to. Having Z-axis issues on my printer. Oh no! Put a picture in the Discord. Not public pictures. Oh no! That is my fear always. I have to say, as much as I'm loath to say nice things about Bambu, because they're a terrible company, the printer itself has been really solid. Like, I've not a moment's problem with it, and I've had it for, oh golly, probably close to a year now. Probably just got lucky, but still. Okay, so in order to glue these in, and we've got to make sure, again, that we're doing this in the right order. The actual locking washer goes as the kind of final thing, as the end point. So we want to glue these in this way. What I usually do is I'll start, and this is where you have to be really careful because you're getting your fingers near hot melt, which is always a bad idea. But, cheers to bad ideas. I'll put a little bit of glue, melt, onto the side, and I'll just tack it down. Just a little bit. Like so. Yes, Creality has an issue with their bed leveling and Z-axis. I say Z-axis because I'm Canadian. Not being good enough to fix each other after a while. So look for a fix on that. Ooh, good luck. This thing, the Bambu printer I've got, it literally does bed leveling like automatically every single time I do a print. I can bypass it if I want, but no. So it does not only bed leveling, it does like vibration testing and all this wild stuff. Like it's surprisingly sophisticated. So after this is set a little bit and you're pretty solid, then I'll sort of stick it around where it's going to go. The goal eventually is to have this kind of wrapped like that. So we're just exposing where the peg is going to go. I'm used to the Zed. I watched Stargate Atlantis. Okay, fair enough. So I'll just put some glue inside there and then we'll fold it over, being very careful not to actually touch it. Just go slow. This is one of those one of those places I found, because the fabric is porous, this will hold quite well. This will, you can more or less count on this. So once you've got it all the way around, I always add some more just to give us some insurance. Assurance and insurance. Language. Not always straightforward. Okay, not bad. This is a case where if you're ever in doubt, just add more. That's not always a good idea, but it's fine in this case. So let me see if I can show you a close up what this looks like, or at least what the intention is. So here we go. We've just got it glued in the top, right? We've got it sort of capped off with our locking washer. And so when we push the peg through, right, we're going to go in there and we're going to snap it closed, and that will hold forever and ever and ever and ever. We hope. It should be fine. Unless you really yank on it, then it should be fine. Pro tip, don't really yank on it. Somebody should cut that. So yeah, that's basically it. And then I just got to do that 3 more times. So let's do that. We're still 11:30 here. I don't know, things like went really fast and now they go really slow. I don't get it. Do you ever use friendly plastic in builds? So like recycled stuff, you mean? That would be nice. Unfortunately, because I use so much 3D printed stuff, I don't have a good source for recycled filament. I know that's a thing. I would like to, but not currently, no. I basically use what I can get off of the evil Amazon. And believe me, as somebody who cares about this kind of thing, I hate doing it, but it's one of those necessary evils at the moment. Oh, little white beads. Oh, so you mean like the stuff you melt yourself? No, I don't, but I'm curious. I would definitely be interested in looking into that. Okay, so more of this again, because that's how we do it. It's a little bit trickier on the ends because, you know, fur has a direction, right? So in this case, the direction is going this way, and at the end where the fur is pointing out, you get there's a lot of overhang. So you want to be careful to not get the glue down into that. Cost of making recycled filament yourself can be a bit expensive, I'll bet. Yeah, that is the one thing I mean, the 3D printer has solved so many problems, but it's also, let's face it, introduced a few. The fact that you're just generating more and more plastic being one of them. Don't love that. So basically with something like this, you just want to go slow and careful. Let's boil. Teeth, claws, horns. You boil and shape it and it dries super fast. Oh, so it's like a modeling material. I gotcha. That's really interesting. The stuff I have used for doing things like that before I got the 3D printer is like either clay foam or sometimes paper clay. Paper clay is quite environmentally friendly because it's literally made from paper pulp. It's biodegradable and non-toxic, and it's really good. It dries really light. It's one of my favorite modeling materials. The oracle's teeth and claws are made out of paper clay. But usually if I'm doing something like that, I'm probably gonna do carved foam, like carved poly foam instead. Frankie's lower teeth, for example, are carved just like regular, upholstery foam that I would make this, the skull out of and everything like that, because it's soft, right? So when Frankie closes his mouth, it just flattens the teeth. I mean, the wooden puppets like Pinocchio style, I have not. I usually do the Muppety style stuff, right? So that is quite outside my wheelhouse. There's a lot more engineering that goes into a marionette style puppet like that. Oh, it's really intriguing. One of the things that is going to be upcoming, speaking of different kinds of puppets, is a rod puppet. I'm working on two different, slightly radical, outside my wheelhouse things at the moment. One is a rod puppet, and the other is a kind of variation of a rod puppet that uses, I haven't quite worked out how to do it yet. I'm still fiddling around with some stuff, but it's basically going to be a displaced mouth plate. This is really hard to describe, but basically the puppeteer, what the goal is, it's going to have the mouth on the skull is going to be way lower down than the actual mouth plate that the puppeteer is manipulating. But because it's going to be connected, it will basically mimic what the puppeteer is doing. So it's going to look a lot more organic and natural than a rod puppet that just uses an open-close mech, right? Still have to work out what the linkages are going to be and stuff like that, because it's going to be a kind of fiddly engineering problem, and like most things, I'm trying to do it robust enough that I can do it reproducible to sell in the shop. Like, I mean, you can do anything as long as you don't mind it breaking, right? But that's the problem. I have to, like I said before, I have to think kind of more like a toy maker than an actual professional puppet builder, because I know there's going to be people standing by to repair this thing, right? But doing a like a linkage where there's basically two mouth plates. The one the puppeteer is manipulating inside the head, and then there's the one that's manipulating the mouth, which is placed way low down. So the one that it's going to be used in is sort of a skull shape, in which the mouth is at the very, very bottom of this narrow jaw, right? That's the goal. I'm still working on that, and that's what you reminded me of with the Pinocchio question, is different sort of linkages and different kind of like mechanical structures inside a puppet that that aren't your traditional standard Muppet mouth plate kind of thing, right? Yes, I am very interested in doing that kind of thing, and there will be some more in the future. I really want to branch out a little bit, at least. I know that, the Muppety style stuff is my bread and butter. It's what people want, so it's what I do a lot, and I do like it. That's the other thing. I wouldn't do it if I didn't like it. But you wanna try new stuff. At least I do. Marionettes are cool though. I was fascinated with them as a child. Never got very good at it. I had a couple, and I tried to work them, and boy, let me tell you, that is a whole other discipline. That is a set of skills I do not possess. My hat's off to whoever can work a marionette convincingly. There are some amazing ones I'm sure you've all seen, like on TikTok or Instagram Reels or whatever. There's that frog that plays the piano, and like all of the fingers are articulated, and it's just wild. Okay. We are almost ready to poke some holes, as the kids say. Oh, okay. $11:42. No wonder I'm getting hungry. There we go. It's nice. Let it sit for a second. I'm going to grab a sip of coffee while I hold this glue in place. Yeah, I really don't have the facilities to work with wood. I would love to. I absolutely adored wood shop as a kid. I love working with lathes and band saws and stuff like that. I just nowhere for me to actually do that kind of stuff. I mean, heck, let's face it, I'd be a blacksmith if I could. Okay, keep the fur away from the glue. That's the tricky part with this. You just gotta be as tidy as you can. Hot melt is always a bit messy. You get the spider webs always. Usually it's fine. If you ever get anywhere that you shouldn't, it's usually okay to be able to trim it out as well, but just want to minimize how much that happens. Okay, there we go. So we've got our ends in. This one's set. We know this one's ready to go. Put the hot melt off to one side. So the very first thing we're going to do is figure out where we put the arms. Put the sleeves down here. Oh, they're buried underneath everything else, of course. Okay, here we go. So very first thing we're going to do is, here's our sleeve. Here are the fingers. There's the thumb. So we've got a sleeve here, and there is actually a seam that goes all the way along the top. And we're going to go a few inches in. You can sort of see under here. We're going to make a hole. Now, the way one makes a hole matters, because you really don't want to, in fabric, if you're going to make a hole to like mount something or push something through, you don't want to cut it. You don't want to like sever the fibers, because that will probably become unraveled, and the hole will just get bigger and bigger, and it will create a big old mess. What you do want to do is one of two things. You can burn a hole, as we've shown before on this channel. I'm not going to do that right now. Don't really feel like opening the window. The other thing that you can do is poke a hole. Take a sharp stick, in this case it's an awl, and we're gonna poke a hole through. And what that's gonna do, it will probably break a couple fibers, but it's mostly gonna push the fibers apart. And that will retain the structural integrity of the fabric. So we're just gonna go a few inches in, poke our hole, and just kind of wiggle it around a little bit. We need a little bit of girth. It's a family-friendly channel, kids. And now we'll take our peg. Again, we want to do it this way because this is the sleeve that the performer's arm is going in, so we want to put the flat end of the shaft going that way. All right, there we go. We just set that down. We're just going to work it down until it's poking through. Sometimes it takes a bit, but that's good. We want it to be quite sturdy. There we go. Okay, so we've got our peg now poking through. Now this matters. The direction of the fur matters here. You got to pay attention. It largely depends on design. In this case, I want the fur pointed down towards the arm, so when it meets, it will blend nicely because it's going to go in that direction, right? Sort of naturally to how the arm would lay. This way, for example, if the fur is facing up, this will, as gravity pulls the fur down, this will create a more scraggly, unkempt look. If that's what you go for it. But in this case, I want to be able to have the option, at least, of grooming the fur. So what we do is we place that in, make sure we're holding the locking washer on the other side, because this very well may pop the locking washer off of the swivel joint that we glued in because of hot melt. So we want to make sure we're holding the very end on the locking washer, and then we push this through until we feel it snap in place. Boom, boom, boom. There we go. And that will still have a bit of swivel to it. It'll still be able to move around, which is good. That's what we want. But there we go. We have our sleeve arm and then our bicep attached. And this is what gets attached to the actual puppet. So when the performer's performing it, they're slightly below the camera frame, as you can see, and it just looks like, this is how Fozzie Bear is put together, for example. It just looks like that is their actual bicep, when it's not. It's down there, but, right? So there we go. That's how that works. So that's pretty much it. I'm just gonna go through and finish this off. So that will kind of do it for the stream. That was a full stream. We had stuff that happened and we did stuff, and there's good audience attendance as well. Thank you very much. Hopefully we'll be doing this again next week. I see no reason why not. This is the last commission for the moment. I may have one more, but I will still make sure I obtain consent to show it on stream. It should be, because this is another standard shop model, so it should be just fine. But there we go. So thank you, everybody. The triumphant return once again. I'll always be back. Don't worry. Unless it's not possible for me to be back, I will be back. My pleasure. Thank you for being here. Looks funny, a human with a puppet arm, you know. Welcome to my world. All right, so Puppetronic, we will be in touch. I'll show you some photos before I finish attaching anything permanently. And yeah, okay, I'm gonna go get some lunch. And this weekend, I will very probably be streaming some video game stuff with Frankie. So join the Pixels and Puppets channel, because that's where all that stuff lives. If you're on the normal people's channels like Twitch and YouTube, there's a link there. If you're on my favorite places, the Fediverse, there's also the Owncast server is just the Owncast server, so you don't have anything to do. But yeah, there's a second channel called Pixels and Puppets. That's where I do all the tech and video game stuff. That will be happening this weekend, probably. So you can join that and hopefully hang out with that. And if not, I will see you next week for another puppet building stream. I'm going to go get food because clearly I need it. All right, have a good day, everyone.